What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Riff Revival, episode 7. So in today's episode, we're going to continue working on that Volumes ERRA song that we worked on last week. I came up with a couple ideas. I think you'll like them. If you're new here, my name is Alan. I'm a guitarist, audio engineer, and audio software developer, and I make riffs every week. If that sounds like your kind of thing, stick around at the end of the video. Real quick, before we get started, I want to give a huge shout out to Nick Broomhall. If you're not familiar with him, he has a series on YouTube called Thick Riff Thursday where he writes a sick riff every week, and he recently shouted out my channel on his last video. I didn't even realize it until his community started coming over to my channel and subscribing and leaving comments. See, man, this is what I like to see. I like to see creators helping other creators. That was really cool of you to do, man. Appreciate you. I saw a comment on his last video where someone said that he sounded more volumes than volumes, which was pretty funny because it was pretty accurate. Nick is an awesome songwriter, riff writer, and it's pretty cool to see that he got inspired from one of my videos. And by the way, Nick, if you're watching, if you ever want to collaborate on a Thick Riff Thursday Riff Revival, let me know. I'm kind of ripping off his channel. Not really. I've always written riffs, but this is something I've always wanted to get into. I just didn't know how. And it's cool because he's basically like a pioneer in this video style. And I've kind of learned sort of how I want to structure my series off of him. So it's really cool to see creators helping out other creators. Don't worry, I'm not going to start my own merch line. I don't care to do that, but I probably will try to make you buy my guitar plugin. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. Let's go ahead and get into the riff. Okay, so during the week, I went ahead and tabbed out the guitars for the first half of the song that we already wrote, and I kind of blended them in. I think it sounds really cool when you blend in the raw takes with the Axure tone. This is my first time using Helix Native, which is basically the plug-in version of my Helix rack, and it's really cool. This is exactly how it looks on Helix Edit. Basically like Axe Edit, if anyone has Axe effects. I don't know what Neurals is. I don't have any Neural products except for this Fortin Nameless suite. If I make a tone here, I can bring it directly to my rack unit and just play with it there. So this is really cool. I'm really excited to do some tone shaping with this. I have a sort of working tone I'm working with for Axure. I'll let you hear it real quick. Pretty sweet. I'm still working on a tone for that. Axure is kind of tucked in there. You can see I have it at -16 dB for both left and right channels. And this is sort of like a quad tracking guitar effect. This is similar to how people use MIDI bass guitar and real bass guitar, where they kind of blend a MIDI track in with the real bass take. They'll blend in the sub lows, kind of have the MIDI keep that tune and that steady note. It's almost the same effect here with Axure. You're just giving your notes that steady tune and that steady sort of grit. Also adds width. It sounds a lot better, I think, in my opinion. So I'll let you hear it real quick with and without. So this is with Axure. So you can tell it just adds a little bit of width and keeps those notes sort of even, a little bit more saturation because there's another tone coming from it. That's how I like to mix in Axure. I think that's the best use case for me lately is kind of blending in an Axure tone with a real guitar tone. Now, obviously, I'll need to go back and retrack these real guitars and kind of edit them tightly, reamp them and stuff like that. But once all that's done, dude, it's going to sound super tight, super good. Right now, we're going to move on. And I thought of a new riff that we could do for the next section. We're going to do some scratch guitar over here at the very end and see where we can go with all this. It still stays with that groovy vibe and then maybe like a breakdown sort of thing. The same thing that Volumes does, like a gent sort of groove breakdown with maybe like some ambient lead over the top. Let's get into it. Something like that after doing it twice, and then go into a breakdown sort of thing like. I don't know. We'll figure something out. So to come into it, I kind of wanted like a clean break sort of thing, like a single coil sound for this too. little rushed on that. We'll bring it back a hair. Ooh, I kind of like that little silent build-up almost. Down, but down, but down, but down, but down, but down. So it's going to continue to be a little bouncy after that. Reverse. Oh yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Interesting. Try to track the riff. Now the riff is going to be kind of hard because it's a tapping riff and I'm using 2 fingers for the tap. Let's see if we can do this. So I'm using my 2 fingers right here. I'm going. Might have to track that part by itself. We will see. Not perfect, but I'm gonna try to punch in that last tap. Better take. And then we just copy paste. But the last part is going to be different. We'll just copy paste to an extent. Yeah, there we go. And then right there is where the breakdown kicks in. Now we have to build the second take. Goodness gracious. I could probably do a ton of stuff ambience wise with this, like behind the riff. Let's go ahead and lay out like a foundation of a breakdown sort of. Ooh, okay, yeah, this is gonna be sick. Let's do some drums on it and see what that sounds like. I like that little double bass run right there. I'll probably add some cymbals in there to accent some of those other notes there. Those last ones is China's. Okay, so basically we're doing a lot of cymbal work to kind of accent things, and then the last few seconds we have China. It just keeps things interesting. I'm not really doing ghost notes. Well, I mean, you can always have ghost notes in a groove, but this groove doesn't feel like it should have ghost notes in it. It should just be straight up, like into it, you know? I don't like this random color. I do like brown. That's one of my colors, but this brown here on the MIDI is just, it's doo-doo, man. I don't like it. Okay, so I guess we're gonna keep the same groove. Got that djenty tone going. Pretty basic, pretty groovy. I like it. I'm going to copy paste this just so we can have the groove repeat itself because I'm liking the way it sounds. I'm not totally in love with the first riff yet. Now, I like the riff. Maybe we just go with something simple. I know it sounds typical of what you'd expect of me, but what else do you expect of me? This is how I write, man. Just let me be.
I write the same thing over and over again, just with a different rhythm. All right, so I did a couple of revisions to the song because I had a day to kind of check it out, soak on it, and see if I liked it, and added some layers. And I also programmed the guitars for the entire part. So I'll go through and I'll show you guys exactly what I did. For this part, there's like a little swell. So there's different layers for that swell. And then I swelled in the volume for the bass. So the riff itself, I was kind of reconstructing it and figuring out what was best for it. Whenever the riff kicks in, there's like an ambient layer, 2 different guitars. I did think of maybe some other things I could do with that later in the song. And another thing that I will mention is that there's sort of a key change going on here. Now, I don't typically write key changes. I actually hate writing key changes because they're really difficult for me. One of my weaknesses, I would say. I'm good at writing transitions. I'm good at like cohesiveness with a song, but some key changes are easier than others. Sometimes I do change keys and it works, but this one's difficult because it's in that 2/4 open melodic key on the fretboard. It's just really hard to write in. I've written a couple of songs like this. One of the songs that I wrote in this key was Spirits Away, old ERRA song. It's probably one of my favorite songs I've ever written for ERRA. This kind of has a Spirits Away vibe to it. The thing about the Spirits Away vibe is it's really hard to write in that key. Also, the payoff is great because when you do write something in that key, it's like beautiful. There's so much melody in that key. What I may do is I may restructure some of the things. Just keep in mind that this section may come after. I may put something before it. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So this is what we have. Let's hear it with the master. Sweet. I think it sounds pretty cool. It definitely has like a Spirits Away vibe, which I like. And by the way, if you guys are interested in Axure, just go to studysoundaudio.com and you can learn more about it there. So that's it for today's episode of Riff Revival, episode 7. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really enjoy making these things. So if you want me to keep making them, please leave a comment, like, share, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. We'll see you next week.